looking on both ends. Hello, I am Makiba and I am super excited to be here. Today is my first time using StreamYard. So I am actually streaming on YouTube Live, Instagram from my phone, and I am on Facebook. And so today I would like to talk to you guys simply about four F's. And the four F's I want to talk to you today about is friendship, fear, forgiveness, and faith. I know if you guys are in the North Texas area, the weather is extremely bad. So if my connection drops, you guys just stay tuned. I will be with you guys as soon as I can. But we are under a thunderstorm at this particular time. For you guys who may be new to this channel, my name is Makiba. I am the founder of Bosses in Scrubs Academy. I'm the owner of Ultrasounds Imaging Concepts here in the great city of Arlington, Texas. And what I do is I teach women who are undervalued, overworked, and exhausted create a business of their dreams and their desire. So if that is you, I just want to share a few things that I have learned in my business career and in my life that can possibly help you on your journey. So again, my name is Makiba and I am here to share all of this amazing stuff with you guys. But just give me a second. I feel like I'm like right on top of my camera. And so I want to start with, and I'm going to be kind of looking down at my paper. So I want to talk about these four F's, and hopefully by the end of this live broadcast that it might help you guys be successful in business and in life. So forgive me, something just happened to my screen. Okay. I want to start off by talking about fear and explaining to you guys what fear is. Fear is a natural human emotion that can protect us from danger. However, it can also hold us back from achieving our goals. I'm not sure about you, but I've operated in fear on so many levels in business and in life. However, one of my favorite, or I should say, one of my top verses that I hold on to is that God doesn't give us the power, the spirit of fear, but of power and a sound mind. And sometimes fear will grab, it will take control of us and sometimes allow us to lose control in so many situations. And I'll share some things that I have to went through in my life in business and in my life and how I overcame that four-letter word called fear. So, a few ways that you can overcome fear is first by recognizing what fear is. You see, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, why are we afraid? What is causing us to be afraid? Was it something that happened to us as a child when we were back home? Is it something that happened to us in a relationship? Was it something that happened to us on a job? So the first thing that we need to do is identify and recognize this thing called fear. Then you also have to begin to challenge your thoughts because that mind that we have, that's where the fear comes in the mind. So we also have to be able to challenge our thoughts. And by doing that, we need to take very small steps to deal with fear. So sometimes when I'm really overwhelmed and I'm dealing with something and fear seems like it's going to overtake me, sometimes I take deep breaths. Sometimes I meditate. Most oftentimes I get into my prayer closet because I believe it's the great I am that can help me and support me when I'm dealing with fear. And at my age, I'll be 53 in May. Oftentimes, I still call my mom because she gives me the best advice when I am dealing with fear. So I'm going to give you an example in my life where fear overtook me. It overtook me to the space that in less than 10 days, or 7 days, I should say, I literally lost 7 pounds. I feel that fear, when it grips you the way it gripped me at that time, I instantly felt that on the inside of my very soul that I aged instantly. And so this particular thing that in my personal life that helped me with fear that almost destroyed me, that I don't want no one ever to go through, is that about 5 years ago, I was at my office and got a phone call about a very difficult thing that happened to my son in China. And so, as a parent, being in another country, I'm being in the United States, fear, it literally almost destroyed me. But in the midst of fear, one of those F's that I want to talk to you guys about is faith. And I want to tell you how faith overcame my fear in that incident. But fear will destroy your very soul if you do not recognize it and identify it. So in my personal life, that was the first time that I can honestly say fear had literally over. It felt like a blanket. So let's move along and let me share with you what fear did to me in my business. Well, May of 2023 will be 23 years that I've been in business. And so I was a young lady working at a very busy ultrasound clinic in the Metroplex. And I was literally put in a situation that I had to figure out what I would do in the situation at this particular job. And so the situation that I was put into, I was forced to start my own business 23 years ago. And what fear that I personally had never taken a business class, didn't know anything about an EIN, didn't know anything about how to create a business name, how to create a business checking account, tax. It was a lot. I was fearful. But again, a part of the 4 F's is when faith overtakes fear. And so right now I'm on StreamYard, so I can't really see any of your comments, and I might have to go back and um, reply to some of your comments. But if you have ever been in a situation, whether or not in business or life, share in the comments how you were able to overcome that ugly word called fear. That would be so awesome for me, because I know I can't be the only one that has dealt with fear. So, since I started off with fear, I want to go to number 2, the power of faith. You see, faith is belief, faith is attitude. Faith is a word that I hold on to so dearly in business and in life. Um, in business, I would not be where I am at this particular moment if I did not depend on my faith, my belief, and knowing that it is something greater on the inside of me that will allow me to do things that my small finite mind I know couldn't do on my own. So, in business, for anyone who is trying to start a business, or even if you've been in business for a while, you have to have unshakable faith. You have to remind yourself of it does not matter what things look like. It does not matter what others are doing or how others' businesses are doing. You have to put yourself out there. Realize that the word no does not mean always mean no, and that in life, no matter if you are not a believer or you are an agnostic or whatever the case may be, it is something that humanity has that's on the inside of them that gives them that pull to hold on to something tangible. And that tangible thing that I hold on to daily is faith and my belief. I can promise you it is because of my faith, and it is because of the things that I have basically spoken, or things that I have basically written down, is why I am in the space that I'm in today. I think so many of us cancel out some of the things that God may have in store for us because of the things that come off of our tongues or out of our mouth. So in business, I don't care who you are, you cannot make it without having faith, without having belief in a higher and a greater power. So in life, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys right now who are listening to this that are married or have children or has, I'll say, elderly parents who may be getting older, health or their life might be declining a little bit more. In life, again, it is impossible to move throughout life without having faith. For anyone who may be watching this or anybody who may watch this a little later, it is important that you have faith that's unshakable. God didn't even, He never suggested that we have faith the size of a mountain. He basically said to have mustard seed faith. So if you have just a small amount of faith, I promise you, you will be able to move mountains. I cannot believe some of the things that I have accomplished in my life. It had nothing to do with me. It's only to do with my faith, my attitude, and my belief. So that is the second F that I want to share with you guys about, is holding on to faith and knowing that just a small amount of faith will propel you into your next destiny, whether or not you want to be a business owner, whether or not you want to stay married. I like to be very, very transparent with my audience. Just even for me in marriage, marriage is not an easy thing, but it's a doable thing. So, uh, in all that you do, or all that you're going through, don't throw in the towel, but hold on to faith. The next thing I want to share with you guys is the third F, which is friendship. Friendship is big to me. Um, when I think about high school friendships, when I think about military friendships, the friendships I've built outside of those areas, friendship is very, very important. But what I've learned in life, and I'm learning every day, is several different types and layers of friendships. You might have friendships or friends that you think that you guys will be friends in life forever. I just want to let you know that some friendships were created by God to grow you and expound, to help you expound on life for a certain period of time. Every friendship is not a friendship that's a lifelong friendship. It's just something temporary. And sometimes we as humans, we do not understand or know when it's time to cut off that friendship. Then it's those forever friends, meaning that these are people that you will have for a lifetime. These are friends that will call you out and not sugarcoat things when things need to be told to you in a loving way. Uh, that's that friend that's like a sister or brother. And then you have those friends that are yes friends. Those are the friends that I warn you to stay away from. When you have friends that are always your biggest cheerleader, even when you know that some of the things that you are doing is not right and out of order, and that person is still saying, "You go, girl, you go," and they have your back, that is the very people that you need to have an eyebrow raised. It is so important that you have a circle of friends around you that will tell you when you're right and tell you when you are wrong. That's in business, and that is also in life. It is so, so important. And it's also to set those boundaries with friends to let them know that your family, when I say your family, I mean your husband, your children, your sisters, your brothers, are very important to you. And that love and that bond of that part of your family doesn't trump them. So, another thing that I'll talk about in regards to friends, it's a lot of friends that in business that can start businesses together. I have seen some really bad situations when friendships or friends start businesses together. So personally, for me, the only friend that I would ever start a business with would be my friend who is my husband. Other than that, I would not suggest anyone. This is just me. Comment in the comments if you're different. But for myself, I think I would just be a little bit more comfortable with my husband and I forming a business together. He's my best friend. He's going to call me out, and that will protect our friendship. So um, it is important with friendships and with friends always to have an open communication. It's important to respect each other's time. It's very important to respect each other's boundaries and opinions. I mean, we all sometimes can be quite opinionated, but it takes a good friend to just kind of tap you on the shoulder and say, you know what, we need to get in this space and have a crucial conversation because this happened. So when you get to that space and you become a lot more mature and you don't think that everybody is out to attack you, and you know that that friend is coming to you with love, I promise you, you will grow um, beyond words. So that's the third thing, the third F for that I would say conquering life and business is friendship. So far we've talked about faith, friendship, um, fear, and the fourth one I will talk about is forgiveness. That's going to be the fourth F that I would like to talk about. And so forgiveness is the definition of forgiveness is letting go of anger, resentment, or negative feelings towards someone who wronged you. Again, I am an open book. I don't come on live or I don't share to be pretentious, phony. I like to be very transparent, and I hope who I am can bless someone else or help someone else in any way I possibly can. You see, forgiveness was something that I dealt with from a child. It was so hard for me to forgive. I mean, look, it took me years to really understand what forgiveness really meant. So Again, the definition means letting go of anger, resentment, or negative feelings towards someone who wronged you. In life, I can honestly say somebody has wronged you in your lifetime. But for you, depending on how you were raised or how you were brought up, forgiving someone might have been easy for you. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I don't know if it stemmed from childhood or whatever, but I had an extremely hard time forgiving someone who did me wrong. It was so hard. But I am convinced that Bernard Waller truly came into my life as a young Marine. And if he has not in our lifetime taught me anything, my husband has truly taught me about the power of forgiveness. And forgiveness is never about that person. Forgiveness is for your healing. Forgiveness is for you to move forward. And another thing I've learned is that when you don't forgive, you don't have the right to tell your body how that ugly, unresolved thing should manifest in your body. So, since you don't have a right to tell it how to manifest, when you hold on to resentment and bitterness, it takes a root deep down in your heart. And that root or that seed of unforgiveness, it can create depression, it can create anxiety, it can create ulcers, cancers, and so many other things because we don't have the right or the ability to tell our physical body how to manifest these certain things. And so oftentimes when we're living in unforgiveness, we even go to sleep with that on our subconscious. And when we go to sleep with unforgiveness and bitterness and all of this stuff in our heart, and you're sleeping, your subconscious, it never sleeps. And whatever you put there, it manifests in ways, and you have no right to tell it how to manifest. And so it's important that we learn how to release unforgiveness. So I know for a fact that thing started and stemmed from childhood. And I thank God that Bernard and his wisdom and all of the things that was attached to us meeting as teenagers on a ship back in 1989 or 88, I don't remember. But he would often say, and I want to stick with unforgiveness, is because this one is so big, and this is what so many of us are dealing with. And I read from I listened to some real great philosophers during the day. Some of these philosophers are from the 1930s. I mean, just some amazing thinkers back in the day. And I learned that a lot of people who are dealing with mental illness, they truly don't have mental illness. It is because of the amount of bitterness and unforgiveness that they have held on to for so many years. And that thing, it took root. And it's going to take a lot of prayer to destroy that ugly thing to free them, right? And so, my dad, man, if I could just punch him when I was a kid, if I can, if I mean, he was just a pill sometime to deal with. But as life progressed, people, Bernard would challenge me and he would say, how in heaven's name could you walk around and be so angry with your dad when I didn't even know who my father was. When some of us are being physically abused or people are being sexually abused by their fathers, and he would say all of this stuff. How could you? He was a great provider and different things like that. And over the years, I began to look at myself and I was like, well, gosh, it's not all him, it is me. And so as life progressed and I began to really change myself, it allowed my dad to start changing himself. And so that last 3 to 5 years of his life, can I just say it was incredible the growth he and I had. And it was all because of forgiveness. And so this is the part of life, and I'm going to share with you guys the part of business why it's important to forgive. So for anyone who may be watching this live or a little bit later, if you are dealing with unforgiveness with a friend, a relative, a parent, someone on the job, I would admonish you to let it go because it blocks your blessings. And at the end, what really matters, what I'm most grateful for the last 5 years of my dad's life, we both walked in forgiveness. And I am so happy and I'm so proud to say that the day his sister, we buried his sister on a Saturday. On the Sunday, the following day, I was giving my dad CPR. But the 12 to 14 hours prior to that is when I asked my dad about the power of forgiveness. And I'm asking him and I'm questioning him. And I can see this man standing up right now. I don't know why, Dad, I'm asking this, but are you living in the state of forgiveness? And he said he was. And I said, I just need to make sure that you are living in forgiveness. And I explained to him that I had a friend who had a near death experience and how she had said that when she stood up in front of the great throne, that everything that she ever did in her life flashed before her eyes. And I asked my dad, I said, are you truly living in forgiveness? And do you believe? And remember, my platform might not be for everybody. I'm a believer. I'm unapologetic about who I believe in. And so, me talking about the great I am and who I believe in, if this is not your cup of tea, I understand and I wish you well. However, I asked my dad that same within that same few minutes, I said, hey, I might get out of here before you. But just in case you get out of here before me, when you stand before the great king and everything that you've ever done in your life flashes before your eyes, I need you to just agree with God, whether or not it's the good, the bad. I said, because my friend told me, just agree with God. And I will never forget my dad says, oh, I definitely will. And we kind of laughed about it. And the last thing I asked this man, who, as a young girl that I can just shoot off at, I said, hey, if you was to leave here today or tomorrow, do you know the great I am? And I wouldn't have never guessed in a million years that my dad, the bullheaded farmer, he was something else. He was something else. And anybody know my dad know he was something else. He literally said that he believed that Jesus was the Son of God. Now, for you guys that are listening to me right now, can you guys imagine if I was so stubborn and did not humble myself and began to walk in forgiveness? Can you imagine me walking today and not knowing where my dad's soul would reside. Could you imagine the people that you are hating, your mother, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, whoever? Can you imagine living in unforgiveness as many people are dropping dead and leaving this earth? Could you imagine not living in forgiveness because of things that truly does not matter? Well, I'm here to tell you, wonderful people, I get up every day and I miss my dad greatly. But what I'm most excited about is that I chose to live in forgiveness. And I live free knowing that I will see my dad again. And I also live free knowing that forgiveness is what was needed for him to get into the kingdom. So that is my part on forgiveness in life. Let's talk about forgiveness in business. Another transparent moment. We all who are in business have dealt with the pandemic and have dealt with the coronavirus. We have lost a lot of amazing people who have worked for us. I mean, I had someone who had been working with me for over 5 years who knew my office. I mean, she knew everything about my office. And guess what? We are still great friends, and I love her and her family. But the pandemic, it shifts a lot of things. And so I hired someone during the pandemic. And this season or during the pandemic, it was difficult. And this young lady that I actually hired, I could not put my finger on this woman, but I had enough sense to know that it was time for me to put cameras in my office. And this lady was a cancer in my office. And she caused, and you see, it's different types of cancers. I'm in a medical field. And so some cancers are silent. And I call her a silent cancer that just explodes and catches you off guard, right? So she was a silent cancer. She wasn't a cancer that just manifests itself and you start having pains and aches and symptoms. This girl would be considered an ovarian cancer. You see, ovarian cancer is a silent cancer that you be bopping around and you don't know until bam, it's too late. It spread and manifests everywhere. This girl was an ovarian cancer to my goddamn office. And I kept in my heart, do not allow your compass, your inner spirit, your guide, the Holy Spirit, don't ever suppress it, because anytime you get that feeling, kind of pause and start kind of looking around. When I say this young lady destroyed so much that words cannot even describe. And this is where I know that I have grown as a human being. Because I think 20 years ago, I think I would have found her and drugged her somewhere. This girl really, truly has a heart issue. You see, when you have a heart issue, that's an issue. But in spite of the cancerous and the necrotic and the craziness that this person brought into my establishment, I still immediately after the cancer erupted instantly, I said, I do not hate her. I feel sorry for her. So even in business, when you come across someone who wrongs you, who tries to destroy your business because of envy, because of jealousy, you have to remind yourself that what God has for you is for you. But this was the first time in my 23 years in business that I had someone working so close to me that I did not know was sick. And I'm grateful to say that I don't hate her, that I can still pray for her. If I see her in public, I won't spit acid on her. I I feel in my heart for what this girl was doing in my office. My heart aches for her as a human being, and my heart aches for her as a woman. Envious, being covetous, jealous, all of those things. You got a heart issue. And this young woman truly had a heart issue. But in my business, I could not hate her. I had to walk in forgiveness because why in the world would who I I try to stay above board. I try to do what's right. I try to treat everybody fairly. Why would I say all of these things, confess all of these things, but hate her? I don't hate her. I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for her as a human being, and I pray that she gets the help that she needs. And so I have no idea how long I've been on this particular live. I hope and pray that on the streams that I'm doing my first YouTube streaming live, Facebook, and Instagram, I hope you guys were able to learn something, glean from something from the 4 F's that I have dealt with in my life and in business. And again, those 4 F's are forgiveness, um, fear, friendship, and faith. I am going to minimize this thing right here. And y'all forgive me. Okay, I'm here. I thank you guys so much for joining me. I will be coming live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless something catastrophic happens or we have some type of storm and I can't get on live. For you, your friends, please make sure you share this broadcast. And if you think any woman who is looking for to be inspired, to be encouraged, I want to come on here and talk about business because I've been in business for 23 years. I want to come in here and talk about life and be very transparent about it. I've been married in June for 33 years. My life, I also want to talk about my children. I think as an African American woman, I've raised 3 successful young men. I think I might have a word or two to share with you on things that we did as a couple to make sure that we protected our children in this world. What they do today, is their business. But the Bible says, train up a child in the way he or she should go, and when they're old, they will not depart. So I think I know just a little bit of something. And so if you want to glean for the few things that I know, and if you want to glean from someone who is authentic, not pretentious, that will be very real with you, please join me on Thursday with Boss Talks with Makiba here, streaming on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And also make sure if you want to follow me on TikTok, I would be excited about that. I had no idea that you needed 1,000 followers to go live on TikTok. So make sure you guys follow me on TikTok. I think you can follow me at Makiba Lynn on TikTok, or The Boss in Scrubs. And I thought that was pretty good. I mean, I wear scrubs all day, and I just thought that was real cool. So I do have an academy called the Boss in Scrubs Academy to help those women that want to create a life of freedom. And so again, I am here to support, love, share, and be as authentic as I possibly can. So you guys have a splendid evening, and hopefully I can figure out this StreamYard, and we'll go from there. You guys be blessed and enjoy your family and enjoy your day. Bye.